Thank you for tuning in to Jakarta Globe News Channel. You're watching The Perspective, and I'm your host, Florence Armein. Poorly equipped schools, medical health facilities, and elections predetermined by money are just some of the consequences of public sector corruption. Bribes and under-the-table deals don't just steal resources from the most vulnerable. They undermine justice and economic development and consequently destroy public trust in government and leaders. The new KPK leadership faces great challenges ahead in their lead in the war against this systemically crippling crime. On The Perspective now, Laode Syarif, the Deputy Chairman of the KPK, he's here to share with us about the current state of corruption in the country. Deputy Laode, thank you so much for making the time here. I know you're very busy. And I also understand it has been a very emotional week, months, the first 2 months for KPK leadership. Thanks to the KPK law revision that's just been disputed about.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure to come to Berita Satu. Yes, this is kind of quite tough challenges for the first 2 months of the new leadership, but we are kind of survived. We were actually happy that yesterday, after we met the presidents, and the president agreed that to postpone the continuation of the revision of the KPK law, and we are also glad that the parliaments actually are in line with actually the hope of the KPK and the people in general. So we kind of happy. And again, yesterday, one of our investigators,
Novel Baswedan?
Novel Baswedan. We've been actually also dealing with it in the last 2 months.
Yes.
And yesterday we received good news from the Attorney General office. That's actually his case officially closed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were really happy.
There's many challenges ahead, isn't it? But it doesn't stop here. Though it may have been announced that the discussion will be postponed. But but what's next then? Is it for the government to actually take this discussion or this law revision out of the Prolegnas 2016?
Yes, I think now the president and the parliament are still in the discussion whether this particular bill actually necessary or not to be taken out from Prolegnas in 2016. We still hope it will be not included in the Prolegnas for 2016 because of several reasons. Yeah. One, actually, the draft that actually submitted by the parliament, they said it's supposed to be to strengthen the KPK, but actually, in reality, if you read all the articles within the bills, it is kind of try to weaken the KPK. And secondly, if they want to strengthen the KPK, I think there are several laws that need actually to be discussed very soon by the parliament and the government. For example, asset recovery bill. It is already in the parliament for quite some time. And also, if they want to strengthen the KPK, for example, the typical law itself is need to be improved. For example, to include the private sectors, corruption, for example, illicit enrichments, trading in influence, which is not yet actually covered by the typical the corruptions law itself, but not within the KPK law. You know? So.
This is separate from the
KPK law. So if they want to actually try to fix or to strengthen the KPK, but not only KPK, the police and Attorney General office, they have to give a priority to those laws, not the KPK
law itself. So now we all know how you feel about the revision of KPK law. 99% weakens the KPK, the institution. Yes. Now, how grave, just looking into the 4 subjects of the main core of the revision, how grave do you think this will affect the KPK if this revision were to be passed?
Yeah, for example, if you are going to, for example, to do wiretapping, for example, today it is already difficult for us to do it, because we have to go through
the bureaucracy.
Through bureaucracy. For investigators, the directors, and from the director have to be reported to the deputy, and after the deputy is came to us, the 5 of us to be agree, and put our signatures on a paper before actually the wiretapping can be conducted.
Correct.
If you add another, for example, advisory or Dewan Pengawas, what you call them,
supervisory board.
Supervisory board actually. that it will actually lengthens and the bureaucracy of the wiretapping, and
Right.
it make actually the work of KPK ineffective.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, for example,
And it also limits the time, the legitimacy of the wiretapping, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
For 3 months, for instance, instead
Yeah.
of.
Oh, even today we are very, very careful in doing it. You know,
Right.
for example, we can only disclose, for example, the voices
Correct.
of the person that actually related to corruption cases, not all some kind of private matters. We
Correct.
never actually disclose that, and also actually the timing of the tapping. It is also actually limited to
Right.
certain time. You know, if they still actually doing their business,
Yeah.
and then we can actually give the extension, you know, but it is very, very strict. You know?
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
so they don't need to worry. You know?
Yeah, because
People
you're not.
out there, you don't have to worry. We are not tapping
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, you're not in the business of abusing your power, the ability
Yes,
to
yes,
have
yes,
that.
yeah.
All right, we're going to have to go for a short break. We'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Thank you.